Urologist reveals 8 simple water mistakes that are killing your vigor after 60. What if I told you that feeling strong, capable, and in control of your own body has less to do with the number of candles on your birthday cake and much more to do with something you do every single day without a second thought? The way you drink your water. Now, it's easy to chalk this up to just getting older. We blame our hormones, our stress levels, or maybe even our diet. But in my years of practice, I have seen so many men, good men, who believe the real culprit is just time itself. But what if the real issue is simpler and much more within your control? You see, compelling research published in the American Journal of Physiology has shown that being even mildly dehydrated, just 1 to 2%, can significantly impair blood flow and increase your body's stress hormones. And those two things, well, they are the enemies of masculine vitality and performance. This isn't just theory from a textbook. It reminds me of a patient of mine, Robert. He's a retired principal in his late 60s, a wonderful man who came to me feeling defeated, convinced his best years were behind him. He felt he'd lost his spark for good. But once we addressed a few of these simple, overlooked habits with his water intake, the change was remarkable, truly remarkable. My name is Dr. Audrey Wells, and today I'm going to share 8 simple, scientifically proven secrets to turn plain water into a powerful tool for your strength and your vigor. Let's get started. All right, let's dive right into our first secret, which is a foundational principle for everything else we'll discuss today. Secret number 1 is the sip, don't gulp rule. Now, here's a critical mistake I see so many men make, and it seems perfectly logical on the surface. They wait until their mouth feels dry or they feel that first hint of thirst, and then they chug a huge 16-ounce glass of water all at once. They feel like they've done their duty for the next hour or two. But this approach, it can actually make your hydration less effective, not more. You might feel hydrated for a moment, but your body isn't getting the real benefit. So, why is this? Why is gulping so inefficient? It comes down to a very simple physiological fact. Your body, and specifically your kidneys, can only absorb and process so much fluid at any given time. When you suddenly flood your system with a large volume of water, you overwhelm its capacity. Your body's natural response is to restore balance, so it signals the kidneys to work overtime, to get rid of the excess. This means a large portion of that water you just drank gets flushed right out of your system, sometimes within minutes before your cells ever have a chance to properly absorb it. And this isn't just theory. We know that the kidneys have a maximum absorption rate, often cited as being around 800 to 1,000 milliliters per hour. When you exceed this, your body simply cannot keep up, which leads to more frequent urination and, ironically, less efficient hydration at a cellular level. It's a cycle of gulping and flushing that never truly quenches your body's deep need for water. The best analogy I can give you is to think of a very dry, hard-packed houseplant. If you pour an entire bucket of water on it all at once, what happens? Most of the water just runs right off the sides and out the bottom of the pot. The soil doesn't have time to absorb it. But if you water it slowly, a little bit at a time, the soil softens and draws the moisture deep down to the roots. Your body works in the same way. So, how do we apply this? It's incredibly simple. Your new goal is to keep a glass or a bottle of water nearby throughout the day, perhaps by your favorite chair or on your desk, and you simply practice taking 1 or 2 small sips every 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. You're not forcing it. You're providing a slow, steady drip of hydration that your body can actually use. This simple habit alone is one of the most powerful things you can do to maintain stable blood volume. And stable blood volume is the absolute foundation of healthy circulation and lasting vitality. This brings us directly to our second secret, which builds perfectly on the first. If sipping is the how, Then this next point is the when. Secret number 2 is drink proactively, not reactively. Now, the mistake here is something almost all of us are taught to do. We treat the feeling of thirst as a simple reminder, a gentle nudge from our body telling us it's time to drink. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of what that signal really means. Treating thirst as your cue to drink is a mistake, a big one. So why is this? Because thirst isn't a gentle reminder. It's an alarm bell. It is a lagging indicator. It's a signal sent from your brain that you are already in a state of dehydration. The moment you consciously feel thirsty, your body has already been operating with a fluid deficit for some time. And when that deficit exists, your body begins to make compromises. It starts to thicken the blood. It starts to release stress hormones. It starts diverting resources away from functions it deems non-essential for immediate survival. And that includes your vitality and sexual response. And the science on this is incredibly clear. The sensation of thirst is a complex process triggered in a part of your brain called the hypothalamus. But this powerful mechanism doesn't activate until your body's water concentration has already fallen below its optimal range, often by as much as 1 or 2% of your body weight. That might not sound like much, but as we discussed, even that small level of dehydration is enough to negatively impact circulation and performance. The best analogy I can think of is this: waiting until you're thirsty to drink water is like waiting for your car's check engine light to come on before you decide to change the oil. By the time the light is on, the problem has already begun. You're not preventing the issue, you're reacting to it. And our goal here is prevention. Proactive maintenance. So, how do we put this into practice? It's simple. You don't wait to feel thirsty. By following the sip, don't gulp rule, you will naturally make drinking water a gentle, consistent habit throughout your day. Just like breathing. You are staying ahead of the curve. You are keeping the alarm bell from ever needing to ring. I had a client, a gentleman in his early 70s, who told me this was the biggest shift for him. He said that by simply keeping water available and sipping consistently, he stopped experiencing those afternoon energy crashes. He was keeping his body out of that low-grade, dehydrated stress state. And that simple change is one of the most effective ways to help protect and preserve your natural testosterone levels throughout the day. All right, so we now understand the importance of sipping proactively. But there's another, often overlooked layer to this that can make a surprising difference in how well your body actually uses the water you drink. This brings us to secret number 3. Temperature matters. Now, here's a mistake that is incredibly common, especially here in the United States. We love our ice-cold drinks. On a hot day or after some work in the yard, nothing feels more refreshing than a glass of water filled to the brim with ice. And I understand the appeal completely, but from a purely physiological standpoint, that intense blast of cold can actually be counterproductive for optimal absorption. So why is this? Why would something so refreshing be less effective? It all comes down to your body's core temperature. Your body works tirelessly to maintain a stable internal environment of around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. When you introduce something ice cold into your stomach, your body's immediate instinctual reaction is to protect that core temperature. It does this by momentarily tightening or constricting the blood vessels in the lining of your stomach and intestines. This defensive action, this brief tightening, it can slow down the whole process of absorption. And this isn't just a folk remedy. It's a concept well documented in gastroenterology research. Studies on what's called gastric emptying, which is simply the scientific term for how quickly fluids and food exit your stomach, have shown that water closer to body temperature is absorbed more seamlessly and efficiently by the digestive tract. The body doesn't have to work as hard to warm it up first, so the water can be put to use much faster. The simplest analogy is to think of your digestive system as a warm, flexible pipe. When you pour cool or room temperature water through it, it flows easily and is absorbed gently. But when you pour ice-cold water through, the pipe momentarily stiffens up. It's a small shock to the system that requires extra energy to manage. The gentle stream is always more efficient than the sudden freeze. So, what is the practical, simple way to apply this? It's easy. You don't need to drink hot water. Just aim for cool or room temperature water when you can. You can do this by simply using less ice in your glass, or by keeping a pitcher of filtered water on the counter instead of in the fridge. It is a very simple switch, and it's much gentler on your entire system. I've had a number of my patients, particularly those who deal with occasional indigestion or bloating, tell me this one small change made a noticeable difference for them. They reported that their digestion felt calmer and more predictable. And when your digestion is working efficiently, your body can better absorb all the vital nutrients from your food. And that, in turn, provides more fuel for your overall energy and vitality. All right, our next secret might sound a little unusual at first. It might even sound a bit strange. But I encourage you to listen with an open mind because the physiology behind it is absolutely sound. Secret number 4 is a simple practice I call the seated sipping technique. Now, the common mistake here is something we all do without ever thinking about it. We drink our water on the go. We sip while we're standing at the kitchen counter, while walking to the car, while working at our desk, feeling stressed. We treat hydration as just another task to check off our list while multitasking. But this constant state of activity, this rush, can actually hinder how well your body absorbs the very water you're drinking. So why is this? Why does your posture and state of mind matter so much? It's because your body operates in 2 primary and very different nervous system states. The first is the sympathetic nervous system, better known as fight or flight. This is your doing mode. It's active when you're standing, moving, or feeling stressed. The second is the parasympathetic nervous system, which we call rest and digest. This is your being mode. It's active when you're calm, relaxed, and seated. Optimal absorption of anything, food or water, happens when your body is in this rest and digest state. And the science behind this is a foundational concept in autonomic neuroscience. When you consciously sit down and relax, even for just a moment, you activate this parasympathetic nervous system. This sends a powerful signal throughout your entire body that it is safe, that it is time to focus on internal processes like properly absorbing nutrients and fluids. When you're in fight or flight, your body is primed for external action, not for efficient internal absorption. Here's a simple analogy. You wouldn't try to sit down and enjoy a nice 5-course meal while you're in the middle of running a race, would you? Of course not. Your body would be in the completely wrong state for digestion. The very same principle applies to hydrating your body properly. To get the most out of your water, you need to be in the right state to receive it. So how do we put this into practice? It is wonderfully simple. The next time you pick up your glass of water, just take a moment. Sit down in a comfortable chair. Take one slow, deep breath. And then take your sips of water. That's all there is to it. You turn the simple act of drinking into a brief 30-second ritual of calm, a mini meditation. This small ritual does more than just improve water absorption. It helps to lower your overall stress load throughout the day. And as we know, managing stress and lowering cortisol is one of the most powerful things a man can do to support healthy hormone balance and robust vitality. If this idea is new to you, just comment with the word relax down below. Let's see how many of us have been drinking in a rush. All right, our 5th secret is all about timing, specifically the timing of your hydration around your meals. And this can have a profound impact not just on hydration, but on your digestion and nutrient absorption as well. Secret number 5 is what I call the pre-meal hydration window. Now, the common mistake, and it's one that many of us were taught was a healthy habit, is drinking a large glass of water with our meals. We do it with the best of intentions. We think we're helping to wash the food down, aiding digestion. But in many cases, especially as we get older and our digestive systems become a bit less robust, this habit can actually work against us. It can make our digestion less efficient. So why is this the case? Why would drinking water with a meal be a problem? It comes down to simple chemistry. Your stomach relies on a highly concentrated acidic environment to do its job properly. This stomach acid, along with your digestive enzymes, is what breaks down the food you eat, especially proteins, into smaller components that your body can absorb and use for energy and muscle maintenance. When you drink a large volume of water during a meal, you are quite literally diluting this potent digestive fluid. You're weakening its concentration. And this has been well established in the field of digestive health. Proper protein digestion, which is absolutely crucial for men over 50 who want to maintain their muscle mass and strength, requires a very specific, highly acidic pH in the stomach. A study published in the journal Digestion confirmed that diluting this acidic environment can significantly slow down the breakdown of proteins, which means you may not be getting the full benefit from the healthy food you're eating. The simplest analogy is this. It's like trying to cook a steak in a lukewarm pan. To get a perfect sear, you need high, concentrated heat. In the same way, to perfectly break down your food, your stomach needs high, concentrated acid. Adding a lot of water is like turning down the heat on the stove. The process just doesn't work as well. So, how do we practically apply this? It's a simple timing shift. The best practice is to focus on your hydration about 30 minutes before you sit down to eat. This gives your body plenty of time to absorb the water without interfering with digestion. Then, during the meal, if you're thirsty, just take small sips as needed. Don't flood your system. Then, you can resume your regular sipping about an hour after you've finished your meal. I had a client named David, a man in his 60s who often felt bloated and tired after eating. When he made this one simple shift, hydrating before his meals instead of during, he told me it was a night and day difference. He felt lighter, had more energy, and his digestion became much more predictable. Because better digestion means more available nutrients, and more nutrients means more fuel for your strength and vitality. All right, let's move on to our sixth secret. And this one is incredibly important because it addresses some of the most common beverages that men enjoy every single day. Beverages that can be secretly undermining their hydration efforts. Secret number 6 is about understanding what I call the diuretic deception. Now, the classic mistake here is thinking that all liquids are created equal when it comes to hydration. It's the belief that if you drink a big cup of coffee in the morning or enjoy a beer or a glass of wine in the evening, that those liquids are contributing to your daily water goal. Unfortunately, that's not how your body sees it. In fact, it's the opposite. Counting these drinks as hydration is a significant pitfall. So, why is this? Why doesn't coffee count as water? It's because beverages that contain caffeine or alcohol are classified as diuretics. This is a scientific term that simply means they make you urinate more. They contain substances that send a direct signal to your kidneys to flush out more fluid, often more fluid than the drink itself actually provides. So instead of adding water to your system, they can create a net loss, a deficit. And the science behind this has to do with a very specific hormone in your body called ADH, which stands for antidiuretic hormone. Think of ADH as the supervisor for your kidneys. Its job is to tell the kidneys to conserve water, to hold on to it, keeping you properly hydrated. However, substances like caffeine and alcohol are known to inhibit or block the function of this hormone. When ADH is blocked, the supervisor is essentially off duty. The kidneys don't get the signal to conserve water, and they begin flushing it out at an accelerated rate. The simplest analogy to understand this is to picture yourself trying to fill a bucket that has a small hole in the bottom. Your morning coffee is the water you're pouring into the bucket. It looks like you're adding liquid, but the caffeine is making the hole at the bottom a little bit bigger, so you're actually losing water faster than you're putting it in. You feel like you're hydrating, but the net result is a slow, steady drain. So what is the practical solution? It's not about giving up the drinks you enjoy, it's about being smarter. The rule of thumb is simple. For every cup of coffee, caffeinated tea, or alcoholic beverage you drink, you should plan to add 1 extra glass of plain water to your day to compensate for the diuretic effect. It's a simple one-for-one exchange. This simple habit is a game changer because it helps prevent that slow, creeping, chronic dehydration that so many men who enjoy coffee or a nightly drink experience, often without even realizing it. It's a key strategy for maintaining the consistent, optimal hydration that is so essential for your energy, your circulation, and your overall vitality. All right, we've arrived at secret number 7, and this one is a simple, powerful tactic you can use first thing in the morning to make your very first glass of water exponentially more effective. Secret number 7 is what I call the morning electrolyte kickstart. Now, the common mistake here is a simple one. We wake up, we feel dehydrated after a long night's sleep, so we reach for a glass of plain filtered water. And while that's certainly not a bad thing to do, it's a missed opportunity. It's a missed chance to make that initial glass of water work much, much harder for you. Drinking plain water first thing in the morning is not the most effective way to rehydrate. So why is that? Why isn't plain water the best choice at that moment? Because after 7, 8, or maybe even 9 hours of sleeping, breathing, and transpiring, your body isn't just thirsty for water. It's also depleted of essential minerals, which we call electrolytes. And these electrolytes, especially sodium, play a critically important role in hydration. They are what actually pull water from your digestive tract across your intestinal wall and into your cells where you need it most. Without an adequate supply of these minerals, water can have a harder time getting to where it needs to go. And the science behind this is a fundamental principle of biology called osmosis. It's a concept you might remember from high school science class. In simple terms, water follows solutes, and sodium is a primary solute in the body. Without enough of these electrolytes present, the water you drink is less effectively absorbed at the cellular level. It's hydration, but it's not deep, cellular hydration. Here's a simple analogy to make it clear. Think of the electrolytes in your system as ushers in a large theater, and the water molecules are the audience members. Without the ushers there to guide the audience members to their proper seats, people just wander around the aisles, and the theater never gets properly filled. Electrolytes are the ushers that guide water to its proper seat, inside your cells. So, how do we apply this? This is the easiest and cheapest biohack you will ever do. In your very first glass of water in the morning, before your coffee, before your breakfast, simply add a tiny pinch of a good quality, natural salt. Something like a Celtic sea salt or a pink Himalayan salt. I want to be very clear. We are not talking about making the water taste salty. Not at all. It should be just a tiny pinch. Maybe 1/16 of a teaspoon, just enough to provide those trace minerals. This simple addition, which costs mere pennies, makes a world of difference. This one simple action completely supercharges your morning hydration. It sets a foundation of deep, cellular energy and optimal fluid balance that can genuinely last you for the entire day. It's a small ritual with a very big impact. And that brings us to our final secret of the day. Secret number 8. This is a powerful technique that you can pair perfectly with your morning electrolyte water to create an incredible synergy that supports healthy circulation all day long. And finally, secret number 8 is the nitric oxide breathing boost. Now, the mistake here isn't something you do, it's something you don't do. It's the mistake of ignoring the profound and direct connection between the way you breathe and the health of your entire circulatory system. We simply take our breathing for granted without realizing it's a powerful tool we can use to actively improve our blood flow. So, why is your breath so important for circulation? The answer comes down to a remarkable molecule that your body produces. It's called nitric oxide. And one of the simplest, yet most powerful ways to naturally stimulate your body's production of this molecule is through slow, deep breathing, specifically through your nose. When you breathe this way, you directly stimulate the release of nitric oxide from the lining of your nasal passages and your blood vessels. And the importance of this molecule simply cannot be overstated. Nitric oxide is what is known as a potent vasodilator. Now that's a fancy medical term, but all it means is that it helps to relax and widen your blood vessels. This discovery was so groundbreaking that the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to the researchers who uncovered its function. For men, healthy nitric oxide levels are essential for achieving and maintaining strong, reliable erections and overall cardiovascular health. The best way to think of nitric oxide is to imagine it's the master traffic controller for your entire circulatory system. When nitric oxide levels are high, the controller opens up all the lanes on the highway. Traffic flows smoothly, quickly, and effortlessly to every part of your body. When levels are low, you get traffic jams, bottlenecks, and poor delivery. Our goal is to keep all the lanes open. So how do we do this? It's a simple 30-second exercise you can do right in your chair after you've had your morning electrolyte water. Just sit comfortably, close your mouth, and breathe in slowly and deeply through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold it for just a moment, and then exhale even more slowly through your nose for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. That's one cycle. You just do that 3 or 4 times. This simple practice, when combined with the deep cellular hydration from your morning salt water, creates an incredibly powerful 1-2 punch. You are hydrating your blood and then immediately taking action to open up the pathways for that blood to flow. It's a foundational practice for improving your circulation from the very moment you wake up. If you are ready to try this powerful and simple combination, go ahead and comment the word vitality down below. So to quickly bring everything together, we've learned today that true, deep hydration isn't about forcing down gallons of water. It's about working intelligently with your body. We've seen that it's about how you drink, not just how much. It's about the power of sipping consistently, drinking proactively before thirst ever strikes, being mindful of temperature, and using simple electrolytes to your advantage. But as I always say, knowledge without action is just entertainment. So I want to leave you with a simple, clear plan for this week. Think of it as your doctor's prescription. Here is your simple 3-step action plan. First, tomorrow morning, just start with that one tiny pinch of natural sea salt in your first glass of water. Second, place a glass or bottle of water somewhere you will always see it. And just practice sipping, not gulping, throughout the day. And third, sometime tomorrow, try the 30-second breathing exercise we discussed. Just once. That's it. That is your entire plan. Now, I know it can feel like a lot to remember, and the last thing I want is for you to feel overwhelmed. Please, do not try to be perfect. If you can only do one thing from this video, just start with the morning salt water. That one small change, done consistently, can begin to make a noticeable difference in your energy levels. And remember why we are doing this. This isn't just about drinking water. This is about taking a simple, powerful, and deliberate step to maintain your strength, your health, and your independence. It's about having the vigor to show up for your life and for your family, fully and on your own terms. Your health is your greatest asset. So if you're ready to take that first step with me, I invite you to click that subscribe button so we can continue this journey together. And to make it real, to commit yourself, go down to the comments section right now and just write, Day 1. There is power in that simple declaration. Thank you for investing your valuable time with me today. In our next video, we'll talk about the 3 best foods you can eat to naturally support healthy circulation. You won't want to miss that one. Until then, stay informed and stay strong.